This ranch was started in 1881. It's got beautiful meadows all the way up and down it. Here at the home ranch, there's 9 miles of river between Battle Creek and the Little Snake River. Lots of different animals come and use it as their water source, and it's got a great fishery, but it's a working landscape. The reality is, if a watershed isn't functioning, we're not going to be getting all of the runoff and the water that should be generated out of this watershed. So we're very concerned about that, and we think we have some stuff we need to be doing to make the watershed better.
We live in a very remote and rural area of Utah, and our family has been ranching here for several generations now. On the ranch we have everything from moose, elk, mule deer, bighorn sheep, pronghorn antelope. We also have some sensitive species like boreal toads, pygmy rabbits. Also, we're an important area for sage grouse. In fact, we have some of the largest leks in the state, and they're very productive. The saying is, what's good for the herd's good for the bird, and we really do believe that we help to provide good habitat.
So out here, sage grouse are going to cover a large area, of which, they'll some of the time in their life cycle they're going to spend it on BLM ground. Other parts of their life cycle they're going to spend it on private property. The private landowners, have the ownership of very important habitat. You're not talking about a couple hundred acres, you're talking tens of thousands of acres of properties.
In Wyoming, we have the Colorado cutthroat trout as our native species of focus, and there was a need here to address stability on the river, fish passage. A lot of the structures on the river were outdated, they were failing, and really the goals they overlap with our landowners here. There's no partial overlap, they're almost completely overlapped.
So we serve as that bridge to take each individual agency's mission and see those areas where there's significant overlap and integrating those into the needs of the private landowner.
And generally we can find a place that we agree to go forward with, just trusting each other. And that's almost the most important part of partnerships is trust. If you have trust, people will be willing to go a long way.
We were able to actually sit down with the family and kind of started the process of how do we fix the river here. The water on the ranch is the lifeblood of the ranch. And we could come in with knowledge of river restoration, stability, and rework their diversions and actually continue to provide that lifeblood for the ranch and still have fish passage and river stability.
We'll have a structure splitting that water between the fish and the irrigation, but at the same time above and below there's habitat structures, so we're narrowing the stream, creating pools, oxidizing so that we have a good fishery too.
So we've worked a bunch with the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Partners program, and they've been effective partners to work with us. They haven't regulated us to do it. They've motivated us with cost share and those types of things, and they've been very good partners for us to work with. We've done a fair amount of juniper removal, grazing management systems, fence marking, work to protect mesic and riparian areas along the streams. We are in the process of trying to reintroduce beaver, hoping that will help the mesic areas and the riparian areas. We've done all of those types of things, as well as working with researchers from Utah State University to study grouse here in the area. We believe that to make the ranch work, we've got to be sustainable, and that if we're doing a good job with our habitat work and with our grazing and those kind of things, that our livestock will thrive, but also the wildlife intermixed with our livestock will do well.
The mission of the Partners Program, in particular in Wyoming, has been focused on just a voluntary program working with private landowners to provide technical and financial assistance to develop conservation, habitat protection, and restoration.
It's always been the model of the Partners Program, and absolutely it's going to continue to be the way we want to do business and other people want to do business in the future, because everybody's realizing you can't do it on your own anymore. It's not a one person's going or one entity's going to save something. You need to work together.
People can work well with each other. So you have to find those individuals within each individual agency to build those partnerships and those teams and those personal relationships. That's what makes landscape scale conservation run. That's what drives it. It's not the resource. It's the people trying to address those resource needs.
When it works, when that infrastructure works, your relationship with the Department of Agriculture, with the Interior Department, Fish and Wildlife, BLM, when all those things are kind of functioning the way they had a vision to function, it's pretty magical.
Well, we've found that in order to accomplish a lot of the work that we'd like to do in our area, it's necessary to establish partnerships. We're trying to bring as many people to the table and to find those issues before we start our projects and those kind of things. And so that's been pretty effective for us. And we've made some good friends along the way.
And it means a lot to us, the fact you get up in the morning and see the cranes going back and forth and herons and eagles, and all those pieces are part of our perception of where we are and why we're here. A lot of partners and partnerships became a very important part of how this landscape can support, another generation.